there are so many really enjoyable things about just one of the guys, and it also addresses some pretty important emotions that DJ is feeling. This is the 18th episode of the first series of Full House, directed by Shallat Chemel, and DJ's cousin comes to stay. This is DJ's cousin Steve, and he's played by Kirk Cameron. I think maybe the first time I watched this episode, I didn't realise that that was Candace Cameron's brother. So watching it now, at least, it was certainly an interesting experience. And DJ hasn't seen her cousin in 2 years, so she only remembers him as being the slightly younger, slightly more, I guess, easygoing as younger children are, and she thinks they're going to go ice skating and do all of these fun activities. But actually, Steve is getting ready to, get ready to go to college, and he just wants to play ball games with the guys being Jesse, Joey, and Danny. And DJ's feeling not only upset that her cousin seemingly doesn't want to spend any time with her, at least the way he used to, but she's also feeling left out because Danny and Joey and Jesse are clearly loving having this young guy around that they can play these ball games with, and DJ's kind of feeling like almost Danny favors spending time with Steve rather than her because she's not one of the guys. And she's got all of these emotions going on, and I think the episode does a really fantastic job of addressing those. It kind of escalates. It starts off with DJ feeling like Steve isn't the cousin she remembers. And then it progresses into Steve spending more time with Danny spending time with Steve, and DJ feeling very much left out from both of them. She makes an effort. She tries to play football with them and become one of the guys, and there's this wonderful scene in the park, which is quite nice because we very rarely leave the household as it is. So to be in the park was a great setting, but to have all of the characters together, including Michelle, who was mostly in her playpen, and Kimmy. I'll talk more about Kimmy in a moment. It was really great to have those scenes. I don't care about football, but I still found it really engaging. A lot of the comedy is actually not surrounding football. So even if, like me, you don't follow American football or any football, the jokes aren't about that. So that's absolutely fine. One of my favourites involves Joey and a sandwich. I won't explain it, but it was brilliant. As always, the comedic timing with Dave Coulier is fantastic. Candace Cameron gives a brilliant performance, and it's so lovely watching her, acting with her brother. And part of me wonders if this is actually a real life situation. If she, as a younger child, felt that her brother was becoming more distant from her as he grew up. I don't know that for a fact, but I imagine that it would be the case. But also, them both being actors could also help strengthen those bonds. But the real star of the show, aside from Kirk Cameron, was Andrea Barber, who was just fabulous. I think at least twice, maybe 3 times, she whacked Kirk Cameron on the butt, which is a little awkward given the age difference, but it was fabulous. And I can only imagine Andrea Barber's excitement with that, because obviously Kirk Cameron, certainly at the time, was this huge teen idol, and well, I imagine it would have been quite a big deal. So I thought that was pretty fabulous as well. There's a lot going on in this episode. It is very funny, but as is often the case with Full House, it addresses some serious issues that I think a lot of people will be able to relate to, particularly if they have older siblings, older cousins, but also if they are in a single parent household and they are stereotypically the opposite gender of the parent, or the opposite sex, I guess, of the parent. Again, this is stereotypical, but and actually the reason this hasn't happened up until this point is because Danny's not this stereotypical one of the guys. In fact, none of them are. Danny, Jesse, and Joey are, they might like sports, but they're not one of the guys in the way. They're not jocks, put it that way. So we haven't had this storyline, but there will be households where, the stereotypically the father might be into sports, the daughter not. Or indeed, it could be the other way on. The parent, the mother could be into sports and the son not so much. But the point is, if you have a very contrasting interest to your single household parent, it could seem quite lonely. And this is what we start to see with DJ, and I think it's very well done. And I really enjoyed it. Definitely a very entertaining episode. handles very sensitively some important issues, and ultimately will always be an episode I'll enjoy.